Hello and welcome to Brave Tarot. You're here because this is tarot you can trust. I'm not here to give you hopium or hope core or lie to you about how you're going to be a famous millionaire tomorrow. Not that that's not on the cards for you. So, today's message is for somebody who is feeling like unsafe or as if they need to protect something that they're creating. And I keep hearing the word interrogation in relation to the creative work. So that could be that you're a writer, or somebody who studies something, or a presenter of some sort. So you have a podcast or you make videos of yourself making a novel conclusion about something that ties back to who you are, or it feels that way. And there's a few things that I'm seeing here about this that Spirit wants you to understand. The first and most important thing is that as long as you agree with what you're saying, and it's a message that feels right to you upon first creation, that is the most important type of boundary energetically that you can have. You need to believe in what you're doing. And the more you believe in something, the less you care about what others think or how they respond to it. So it's important to interrogate that. And then the second thing that comes up is this image of a person playing frisbee with others, and then they catch the frisbee and they run away with it and stash it in the house. And then there's a zoom up in my mind's eye of the frisbee and it says, "Keep me safe." And well, what's quite obvious about this image, right, is that you can't play frisbee on your own. And there's no real value in keeping a frisbee to yourself. That's the nature of the game, is to have it thrown around. So, to some extent, what you're putting out there, like, it's kind of like, it's like you're a frisbee machine. You're like churning frisbees out your mouth or out your hands as you make these novel conclusions that you're sharing with the world. And once it's out there, it doesn't belong to you anymore. And it's serving its function. You've crafted the play item. And you are a separate entity. And so the next step or the act that you can engage in that should be a lot of fun is to watch it get thrown around and to watch people interrogate your premise further. And it's on you to not get the two conflated. If somebody misunderstands it or they have a fallacious argument that you personally are a problem rather than your argument being a problem, then that's not a person worth listening to because they haven't got their head on straight. And it's kind of like, what game did you really want to play? Like now I'm seeing somebody doing, like, is it called double dutch? Where there's two different skipping ropes and they're different colours and they're different rhythms. And one of them is the real game you want to play, which is, I don't know why this is feeling so like intellectual, but like intellectual jousting. Which could also just be like, say you're a musician and you create music. You want to attract other musicians who are down to like play the game with you and improvise or create new music with you and collaborate. And that's a different skipping rope to the audience that doesn't know anything about music and says, "Oh, this is shit, and so you're shit." Do you know what I mean? Like there's a big nuance there. And so now I'm being shown in my mind, like the skipping rope that you want, the game that you want to play keep seeing the word confirmation and affirmation. I guess there's something about confirming your identity with what you create as a personal process that is good for, like I've talked about that a lot on this channel, that the more you create, the more you can feel grounded in who you are and know what you are and what you like. And then the word affirmation. I see. So there's a difference between allowing what you create to confirm who you are versus to affirm who you are. And you want it to confirm who you are, which means to solidify what's already there and what you already know. Because if you need to affirm it, there's this feeling of kind of like elevating you, or there's a weakness or like a feebleness about what was already there. And so you're using the art to prop up who you are against your insecurities. Does that make sense? So to confirm who you are with what you create is to feel certain in what you're doing, and for it to be like a final stamp of your own approval on the envelope, and then you can send it out freely wherever you want. But if you're using your creativity for affirmation, it's like leaving the envelope open and just hoping that what's inside the envelope doesn't fly around in transit. So there's a strong difference between genuinely believing what you have to say, sealing the deal and sending it out into the world and accepting whatever is going to come from their response, even if that involves character assassination, because it would not feel true to you if you fully were confirmed in your identity before putting this thing out into the world, versus needing affirmation and hoping that it goes well, expecting that the audience will affirm what you're doing and agree with it. And if they don't, being torn apart and getting confused about who you are. So if this feels very relevant to you, there's kind of an exercise here in identifying the mismatch in your identity and your creation. What are the things that you could preemptively stand by? You know, you might write a piece for your own entertainment, and then once it blows up and a million people see it, you might feel very different about that, because you're thinking, oh, I kind of wrote this in a place of amusing myself or still deciding what I really think. And now with this many eyes on it, it's kind of consolidating some idea of who you are, and you need to be willing to stand by that. And so what areas of your life are you still figuring out? There's nothing wrong with that, but lean into the parts that are secure, that don't need affirmation before you go creating. I'm going to leave the message there. It's short and sweet. Hope it makes sense. Hope it attracted the people who needed it. If this resonates, I have one-to-one readings in the link in my bio. Click on it, check them out, order one. And subscribe, like, share, be brave, and I'll see you in the next reading.